from all around the world, publishers, agents, translators, illustrators. And also it's a very good opportunity for all of you to know better our rich publishing production, our Greek publishers, and the rich publicity of the books and all topics. I mean, from literature to fiction to non-fiction to children and young adult books. Sorry, and of course, it's a very good opportunity to know from your side your markets, your insights, and your concerns about recent issues, contemporary issues. I mean, artificial intelligence is one of that. And we are looking forward to hear from you. And afterwards, we will present the panorama of the Greek book publishing industry. So with no further ado, Mrs. Nopi Hadjigeorgiou, our coordinator of professional program and international program, will tell you more about this program. And Ms. Nopi takes the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Kapos. I don't know, a lot of information about the program is already sent, so I just want to say welcome, dear professionals, dear fellows, dear friends. We're very glad to welcome you here in Thessaloniki, in our book fair, in our professional program. It's the third edition, as we said, and we see year after year this program to grow and open and be bigger and more interesting and more diverse. The topics and the meetings and everything between you and the Greek publishing world, because now year after year, they know better how it works, and they want to meet you and meet each other and understand and share ideas, share good practices, open the dialogue. That was the idea of the name of this place. This is the dialogue stage, and behind this, it's the dialogue right center. So I wish you good luck. I wish to all of us good luck, of course, but for you to make a lot of business, a lot of exchanges, and more books to be translated and published between our countries. Welcome and thank you. Lambrini Kouzeli, please.
Thank you, Nopi. Hello, good afternoon to all of you from me as well. I'm Lambrini Kouzeli. I'm a book critic and journalist specializing in books in Tovima newspaper. I'll be moderating the first panel with two exceptional ladies. They don't need much introduction because they're very well known. Mrs. Elena Pazzoli, the director of the International Children's Book Fair in Bologna, and Jacques Thomas, the guest director of Bologna Book Plus, a very recent expansion of Bologna Children's Book Fair that has celebrated 61 years, 62 last March. So please, join me in the panel. Yes. Well, the topic of our discussion is the importance and the role of international book fairs in exchange of ideas and in business. There was a very challenging times for international book fairs a few years back during the years of the pandemic. And some of them didn't make it, some of them they failed. And there was a big discussion about how the internet can and might replace all living interaction. But since then, we have seen book fairs to other book fairs to thrive and expand. And Bologna Children's Book Fair is such an example. How did you make it, and what, a few years later, after the pandemic, people come again and again in larger numbers in Bologna. So, what is what an international book fair has to offer to the book industry, to the community where it belongs? What could you say?
Thank you very much for this invitation and hello to everyone. For me, it's the second time here. It was my fortune to be here for the first edition of the professional program, and so I'm so happy to be back again. Yes, right. That was very challenging time, but I have to say that. Of course, it was horrible for the world, but the good in that was that we all tried to develop our creativity. I can say that we have never felt to be so much connected to our community as in those times. We were one of the first fairs that had to be cancelled. And so I remember it was a kind of a pioneer era, you know, what shall we do? So there's no need to say what we did immediately. The digital platform, a lot of online events, and a real edition of the Bologna Children's Book Fair. And I remember that in all our discussion, there was a word that was kind of a mantra to convince us that we were not losing our fairs, and it was serendipity. And that mantra was very real because what is almost completely missing in the online activities is exactly that one that you can meet, but after so many years now of online meetings and events, we all know that they are so great to keep us connected. They are so great to talk, to make decisions also, but they're not very great in terms of warm dialogue. So we quite immediately understood when we did the fair again after two missing editions. It was clear that people really wanted to reconnect physically. And I remember that the first time we did the fair, of course, it was smaller than usual, but you could feel that people were so happy to be there again. And this, then, yes, I think that everybody realized the need of meeting, and yes, it's true, the fair increased. Also because the book market increased during the pandemic. And we are now experiencing, I think, all over the world, a slight, the market is going a little slower because that was so big an increase. And now, yes, we have more countries represented, we have more exhibitors, and I think that what we offer is the physical platform where people can meet, and also, of course, we work to address in a way to help these connections, picking up the hottest topics. And again, and I'm very happy because here is my colleague Jax, the pandemic, it is thanks to the pandemic that Bologna Book Plus started. We had this idea.
Greece as the first guest of honor.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
To remind this.
Yes.
I think it took me some time to recover. The world went into lockdown on March the 20th, and the London Book Fair was due to start on March the 20th. So we had some people who'd flown in for the London Book Fair stuck in London, because I was running London at the time. The sense of loss people had for not being able to attend that book fair was huge, actually. And I think that the book fair community, as you said, was shown in all its strengths because people wanted to replace it with something, albeit online. In terms of the world coming back, I think Thessaloniki is a really good example of how people came back wanting book fairs. We were here 3 years ago. This has grown enormously. Enormously. People want to meet. They want to be curious. They want to discover new markets. I think books are more important than ever, really, and book fairs too.
The president of LEVIP mentioned earlier a very important word, diplomatic relations, and how book fairs help countries. Greece and Italy are very well connected countries and literary traditions from centuries back. We have renewed that connection, being country of market of honor 3 years ago, and now Italy being the country of honor in this book fair. How the book fairs help these relations between countries, long existing or non-existing at all, to begin or develop? How do you have experienced that in your careers?
I see that the institution of the guest of honor country in the fairs help enormously the mutual dialogue between the countries, also because on that occasion most of the countries increase the translation grants that are so important. Of course, there are countries that maybe are not ready yet to be the guest of honor, but I think that it is mandatory for an international book fair to understand what countries are developing publishing industries, what countries are worth to be explored, and I think that what we do, not only Bologna but also other international book fairs, is exactly that, to be very open and to do a year-long scouting work. Attending so many fairs is not just to promote the fair, but it is to understand how you can make your fair richer and bring more publishers and being more inclusive. For example, a huge result of the pandemic was that during the 2 online editions, we decided we didn't have exhibitors, so the 60 year tradition of the Bologna Ragazzi Awards was the publishing houses admitted to the award are the exhibitors, with the idea that Bologna is great, all the publishers are in Bologna. That's not true. That's not true. So we found ourselves not having any exhibitor because the fair was not existing, but we wanted anyway to highlight what has been produced across the world. And so we decided to open the award to all publishers in the world, be past exhibitors or never exhibited in Bologna. And after the pandemic, we found that we had to go ahead with this because the idea is that the best service that we can provide our exhibitors with is bringing to our stage books and independent, small publishing houses that maybe are still hidden because they can't afford, they're not ready for the international market.
I think you asked about diplomacy. I think every clever country has soft power and understands the power of books and how books open doors onto different cultures and different worlds. And you're absolutely right. Greece was the inaugural guest of honor at Bologna Book Plus, and it was an absolute pleasure because we all learnt so much about Greece, what it has to offer in a contemporary cultural way, because we can all get very stuck in thinking a country. We all know Greece has a fantastic, rich history, unrivaled, rivaled only by Italy, really. But at the end of the day, lifting a lid, opening a window, whatever you want to say, in terms of contemporary Greek culture, contemporary Greek people, contemporary Greek thinking, politics, architecture, art, everything. It is a guest of honor program allows you to do that. And it's a source of great regret to me that in a lot of English-speaking countries, we are moving away from investing in things like guest of honor programs and those cultural initiatives. So I think it's absolutely vital. I think a book fair plays a really huge role, and a guest of honor program is something that works on many, many levels, from intergovernmental to interprofessional to consumers in the bookshops. So I'm a huge fan.
Another very important characteristic of book fairs is that they're exerting an influence in the book world. They set trends, or maybe we are presented with new trends there, even if they don't actually set them. What are the book trends this year that have emerged in Bologna, this year's Bologna Children's Book Fair? What does the market discusses or wants or needs, and the authors and the creators as well?
But we have seen a trend in the last years that has been increasing also due to the world dramatic situations, COVID, wars, attacks, and we've seen more and more children's books telling stories about the real problems of the world. And we've seen at the beginning they were books that were meant to be educational, to teach children about these real things. But now we've seen that the industry has increased a lot in creativity when it comes to these topics. There's a big issue why children's books are always expected to teach. That's something that is completely separated from the big issue of enjoying reading. And I have seen a big increase of wonderful books talking about the life issues that are all the sustainability issues, when not only environmental sustainability, but all the goals. And now I see a huge production that is far from the old issue just to teach and make children aware of these topics. And it has increased a lot. In the meantime, there's also an important increase of interest in fairy tales that in a way could be a counterpart of this. Yes, and and also, and it's not a rhetorical. That is what we really see, what we have really seen in the last years. There's such an increase in quality books from small countries, from countries that also don't have a huge tradition in children's books. And this is amazing. And I think that this is the best output of the international relationships.
I think trends at book fairs are actually, book fairs are there to give a platform to the trends that are bubbling up within the publishing industry. So we staged a huge sustainability panel this year. You also support women in publishing hugely. That's your thing, Elena. And also, we can't ignore the topic of AI, which is obviously is now coming into trade publishing, where obviously in the academic STM world, AI has been adopted as ever before the trade publishing world. There are fierce debates around AI for good and the challenges it also produces. It's book fairs are a really good moment in time to give a platform for international voices, for different experiences, to be able to debate these challenges and these opportunities. And the wonderful thing about publishing is that there are some really good brains in publishing. So where there's a challenge, we generally find out that we can make an opportunity. And I think that's where book fairs are really valuable, in having those debates, sometimes very passionate debates, but they are conversations that need to be had, freedom of expression, all of those quite tricky topics. A book fair can play a crucial role.
We have time for one more question. Okay. So, oh, all right. So, you mentioned sustainability, and there's a big issue on how a fair can be sustainable. How do you address that question?
We have started to make the event more sustainable in all the different aspects, starting from a sharp reduce of the carpets, all we can do in terms of because you know we are not only fair organizers, we are also the owner of the fairgrounds. So there are actions that we have been taking in the last years to make all the fairground more sustainable, and of course, and this is what we can do as an actor. And then there is all we can do as a stage, as an international stage, and that is what Jax was mentioning. So all our efforts to bring publishers, and I have to say that it was not so simple to bring publishers to discuss about what is the worldwide publishing industry doing to become more sustainable. You know, I will never tell the names, but my invitation was not accepted by many publishers. It took time to put together the panel. At the end of the day, it was a very good panel, but it was not so simple because actually for an industry like the publishing industry, there are issues that are I mean, the paper itself, the shipments, the inks, the product itself, in a way, and of course we see that there's still a strong commitment in keeping high the value of the physical book. So I think that everybody has to try play their own role, starting also from the small things.
But also the UN's SDG Club, the sustainability goals.
Yeah, you know, we are a partner with the UN SDG clubs from the very beginning. Now we have built a partnership with the UN publication area in order to promote, to first to collect and scout the best books on sustainability across the world. And then, of course, the aim is also to address, to invite publishers to work harder and harder on that topics. We presented a big book exhibition in Bologna, and I'm very proud to say that from February for 2 months, this exhibition will be exhibited at the UN headquarters in New York. And this is a way to contribute, I think.
I think another way that people can, I mean, exhibitors contribute as well in terms of, you can see it in Frankfurt, you can see it in Bologna, in terms of people who are attending the book fairs. They're very, publishers, especially large publishers, are now very focused in who they send. So rights trading is the name of the game, and whereas a lot of editors used to attend Frankfurt and London, for example, and now it's very much rights people. So fewer people are taking planes, and I mean that all has a knock-on effect on the sustainability of an event. But it's a knotty problem, sustainability, and we all play our part. You know, the aeroplanes that bring us here all play their part as well. And they're all going to run on olive oil, I'm sure.
And the other big issue of our times, diversity, inclusivity. You mentioned that you invite people from all over the world, small countries, big markets, small markets, big editors, big publishers, small publishers. Are there any other specific actions towards inclusivity in Bologna?
I have to say that we have a big help from the Italian Trade Agency. That's also the organizer of the Italy Pavilion, because after the pandemic, they've always supported us in a smaller way in the past. But after the pandemic, we have developed a big program together in order to try to be more inclusive, and so to give a real help to publishing houses from around the world that can't afford to come to participate in a fair. And in the meantime, I think that inclusivity is a big word, you know, because there are many different areas of, and now we, in the last few years, the months, not years, in the last few months, I think that we have seen and heard words and statements that we had never thought it was possible to hear. And now, so I think that not only the fairs, but all the publishing industry now has a real task that is to keep high the attention on the inclusivity topics, because there are rights that are going to be forgotten, I think.
Well, 10 years ago, I ran the first inclusivity conference in London for publishing, and I'm pleased to say that publishing in London has moved on enormously since then. It is a much more, not because of my conference, but it was a topic that everybody was willing to embrace, and so they were willing to attend the conference and willing to discuss how to make publishing that had been very privileged, really, to make it more reflective of British society. And I think that has worked to a certain extent, but salaries are still a real problem in publishing. So salaries in publishing do cut out some people who need to earn money for their families, a lot of money. And Eleanor is absolutely right. Each and every one of us has a responsibility at the moment with possibly some of the rhetoric in today's world about being very responsible and watchful about the language we use, how we operate, and the power of the book, and possibly some brave books that need to be published discussing these topics. Inclusivity works in a completely 360-degree way. It's not a top-down, it's an across way, it's an around way. And inclusivity needs to work across the world, in the shape of the world. It can't just be us deciding who is inclusive. We all need to be inclusive with each other. And I think now more than ever before.
I have left my my mobile on my seat, so I can't keep track of time. So thank you very much, Elena Pazzoli, Jack Thomas. Enjoy Thessaloniki Book Fair. Hope to see you again.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, Elena Pazzoli, Jack Thomas, ladies, of course, Lambrini Kuzelli. She changed her flight and to come early today and moderate this very interesting panel as an opening to this series of panels and discussions about international book markets, about publishing, about translation, about, of course, artificial intelligence, and many more interesting discussions. But we all know that all of this kind of discussion mostly we do at the book fairs. And now we are here again to open the dialogue and discuss more and more. And I just wanted to add to this very, really interesting talk that, I mean, now this year we have Italy as the guest of honor. And this didn't happen by chance because we started working, we were the guest of honor in Bologna, we had collaborations, discussions, etc., and now we are so happy to have Italy for the first time as the guest of honor in Greece. We are so close, but it's the first time they are the guest of honor. We are all very happy, and we believe that's a great opportunity for us. So now we start. We are very glad to present you the Greek book market data, numbers, and information by Mr. Panagiotis Kapos, the Vice President of the Hellenic Foundation for Books and Culture, and a small talk after this with publishers, members, HFBC. You can, of course, if you have any questions or things you want to know more, you can ask and take part to the discussion that will follow. So, Mr. Kapos.
Thank you. And also we have here George Mouroutis, our board member and publisher, and Argyris and publisher also. And we can we have a discussion. So, I will present you the panorama of the Greek book publishing. About some key characteristics of our industry, and also some data about our book production. And also I will end with our organization and telling more about the Greek Lit program that also Mr. President Nikos Bakounakis mentioned earlier. As you can see in this slide, we have a rich production, taking account that we are a small country. In the year 2023, we have the book production. That means all the first edition of the books, reprints and in all book formats, was 12,351 books. As you can see, there's almost an average about 10 to 11,000 books per year. So in the period of 2009 till 2022, a total of 150,000 books were published here in Greece. Mainly they are print books, cover a percentage of 1970 of all types of books. And as you can see at the bottom of the slide, 93% is printed books here in Greece in the 2023. So that means that we have it's a print-centric publishing industry. When we are talking about book production, of course, we are talking about a lot of book categories. Literature, academic, scientific, and children's and young adult books are the top three thematic categories of our publishing industry. As you can see, literature takes the lion's share. That means 4,100 books in 2023. Academic scientific 2,900. Also we have a rich academic scientific industry here in Greece, because in the universities there's a system that the publishers provide the books in the universities through a system called Evdoxos, Eudoxos. So it's a rich publication industry here in Greece regarding the scientific and academic books. Also, children and young adult books are very in the main three categories, as you can see, because we have a lot of publishing houses that specialize their publication in children's and young adult books, and they also we have a very unique illustrators. So when you go to this fair and you go passing by our corridors, you can see the variety and the diversity of the children's books, and of course all kinds of books. So in 2023, fiction was in the percentage of 55% and non-fiction 45%. So it's a kind of balance. And also in Greece we have a lot of books that are translated from abroad to our language. English, French, Spanish, German, and Italian are the top 5 languages from books that are being translated here in Greece. And also, as you can see, okay, English is a word that dominates, of course, the translated books, the language that comes first. But here we can see also an increase in Italian books, and also have a guest of honor Italy this year. So as you can see, there is an increase in 2023. 122 books from all kind of categories were published, and 2024, with data not yet confirmed, it was more than 175 books. So that means the Italian industry does something very well, and also we have a very good translators from Italian to Greek. of course. Then we can discuss afterwards why this happens. But I'm now concerning only in the data, so we can discuss about that, of course. Translated titles are in the percentage of 29%. 29% of books that are published here in Greece are from translation from other languages. Another key characteristic is the average book prices here in Greece. The book remains an affordable cultural good, but as you can see, in 2023, the average price was 17 euros. That includes all kinds of books, an average of 100 pages. So despite all these difficult circumstances, publishers are keeping low the prices, and they're trying to give to the public, to the readers, the book in a small price or a normal price regarding the difficulties. Of course, another thing, another format of the book industry is e-books, electronic books. As you can see in this slide, for the period of these years that the research was taking place from 2009 till 2023, 23, sorry, the total production of e-books titles is 111,000, almost 12,000, as you can see. So this production comes from more than 229 publishers of all shapes and sizes. That means that not only the big publishing houses, but small and medium-sized publishing houses publish e-books. It's a small decline in the e-book industry in Greece. The percentage is 7% right now regarding the total book production. Regarding the total book sales of this format is in 1 or 2%. It's a very small percentage in the market regarding the sales of the book, e-books. Of course, audiobooks. It's a format that has been for years in the publishing industry in many formats, from cassettes in the ancient years till the CD players and the CDs and other formats, and also from the oral culture of human beings. But now, because in Greece we have the introduction of the entrance of two big publishing companies that not only publishing companies that are mainly platforms that sell and also produce electronic books of course, with publishers, not only alone. But as you can see, these two platforms a format here in the digital platform are visible. Audiobooks are now visible in our country, mainly with two business models. Audiobooks through downloading, you can purchase the book, and also access via subscription. I want to tell you some things about the Greek book publishing industry in general. That means not only the book publishing production, but how many publishing houses are in Greece. Of course, it's not very easy to measure this kind of data, but we did a very in-depth research some years ago, and we found that the active Greek book publishing companies are around from 800 to 1,000. That means that they represent. When we are talking about book publishing houses, I mean only these houses that have in core business publishing books, not institutions, not organizations, not libraries and other institutions. So the activity of systematic publishing companies is found in Athens, and afterwards, the second place is Thessaloniki, but Athens takes the lion's share, as you can see, with 75% of the book publishing houses that are in Athens. In that, here you can see at the bottom, because you can have access to this PowerPoint through our website, levip.gr, in the section that says Thessaloniki Book Fair, and you can download all the presentation. So I'm going more quickly, and to have discussion, it's better. So in 2022, as you can see in the bottom of this table, from the systematic publishing houses, we have published, we have the production of 10,000 books out of 11,000 books. That means 92% of these books are published by the systematic publishing houses. Last year we conducted here research with the exhibitors and the publishers that are here in Thessaloniki Book Fair, and we asked them some questions. I think one question that has a meaning in this presentation it's about the criteria for the selection of foreign titles to be published. As you can see the answers, there is a variety of answers, but it's, for example, the genre that is popular in the Greek market, the topical issues, awarded books, worldwide bestsellers, titles that translation of which is funded. So here is the programs of translation programs that takes place. Other factors like the quality of the books, the personal interest of the book by the publishers, and so on. Also, when we asked the publishers if they have sold rights of their own titles abroad, only 32% said yes. So there is a big opportunity for every Greek publisher to work harder. It's not easy. Also, the institutions have to take the role here with these programs, and we can discuss that. These categories that translated outside, from outside the Greece, were adults literature, children's books, essays, historical books, and biographies. As I mentioned before that here we are a print-centric publishing industry. We have mainly small and medium-sized enterprises, mainly consumer trade book publishers with a focus in literature. The business model is the publishing of printed books, paperback. We don't have so much hardback books, but now, but of course there exist. And also, a key characteristic from our industry is that we have this, we call it bibliodiversity. That means not only thematic diversity, but also aesthetic and typographical variety. And you can see that when you go to this to the pavilions of and the stands of our publishers. Another characteristic in our industry is the absence of mergers, strategic alliances, and partnerships. So means that we have to create economies of scale. Mr. Argyris Castagnotis.
Absence of collaboration whatsoever.
Absence of collaboration, okay, it's a problem. Also, self-publishing industry and the self-publishing model is very visible in our book production, mainly in in poetry, in literature, and children's books. And also the state as a buyer, as I told you before, with this program that we have here in Greece. The trends from the book production regarding not the sales, because we don't have a measure, we don't have a way to measure the book sales. So here is also a big thing that we're discussing every year. But from the book production is that self-help books are very famous, graphic novels and comic books, biographies and autobiographies, not only from authors, but also from important persons or famous persons or influencers or athletes and music industry and so on, children books. Also, a characteristic is the low level of readership of systematic and intensive readers. It's around 35% that they are core readers. It means read 5 books and more per year. The rise of e-commerce is something very obvious, and also sales through the channels of publishers, and the rise of social media marketing. Um, I'm very quickly, because Mr. President told this before, we are a new organization. We just established in 2024. And our goals are the development of the national book policy, to promote the book as an educational and cultural asset, provide funding and other tools to support the book sector. And also, we are a member of European organizations such as ENLIT and UNIC. Our main goals are the funding program Greeklit, Thessaloniki International Book Fair. It's a very big task for us. Biblionet is the bibliographic book data, books in print here in Greece. To establish new reading programs and campaigns, and also conduct research, because there is a lack of data, and we need more data in order to understand better our field. This is the Greek Lit program. Mr. President told you more before. You can find all the information also to our pavilion, to our stand with programs and the catalogs. So here just some data. We have this program runs from 2021. 52 books published. 2022 President says, yes. So the 52 books have been published since then from 38 authors, from 20 translation languages, from 48 translators. So here we have a big connection, and that creates a network of translators from a lot of publishers from Greece. Here you can see some Greek books that have been translated to French. Here is the Greek version of these books. Here is two books that have been translated to Italy, to Italian language. And there are a lot of more from from Spanish, Dutch, English, French, German, and so on. And I'm concluding this short presentation telling you that the Thessaloniki Book Fair welcomes you again, and we hope that we have a very fruitful cooperation and discuss ideas and exchange thoughts. Thank you very much for your attention. So I will give the floor to Mr. Argyris Kastagnotis. Argyris Kastagnotis is a board member of our organization, and also he's a publisher, Kastagnotis Editions. So from his perspective, we can hear more things about the Greek book publishing industry. Tell us your thoughts, whatever you think that is well to know to our
Hello, everyone. It's great to have you here. Now, I represent the publishers at the newly founded foundation. So it's my job to keep an eye on the president and the vice president in order to follow through with the tasks and the goals of the foundation. It's always a pleasure to find when an opportunity arises to meet with everyone from all over the world, because one of the best elements of this industry is the people of the industry. No one is in it for the money, I believe. So. So it's the opportunity that we get together and we exchange views, opinions, and knowledge, either through paper or orally, like our ancestors did. But especially book publishing in Greece is a very romantic venture, because a publisher doesn't have, for example, the support of a large and organized library network, which in other countries buy copies of the books produced, so the risk of a newly published title is minimized. We don't have that here. Libraries wait from us to gift the books to them. So yes, that's one aspect of a Greek publisher. Then, as Mr. Kapos mentioned, the readership is fairly small, even compared to the population of this country. But we have what I personally call professional readers, which read lots of literary fiction and make it possible for us to operate. Obviously, a literary publisher like Castagnotis Editions, which is my family business, has to also publish more, mass market and I forgot the word. Popular, not popular. You know, yes, titles in order to compete. Yes, not compete. You know what I mean. Pay the bills. Now, all the publishers in Greece are small family businesses. Most of them. There are no, big. I call myself an independent European publisher. So we try to bring the best authors from all over the world, and that's our goal as a publishing house. And we try to modernize also the industry in order to keep up with the technological advantages that appear. 10 years ago, we introduced e-books. Before that, we had a multimedia department. Now, we just published the first AI translated book. So you can, we are here if you want to fight. So, yeah. So that's from me. I think it's questions, if anyone has. So it's a pleasure to be with you here today.
Hello from me. I'm George Mouroutis. I'm a publisher and member of board of ELIVIP, the Institute of Book and Culture, the Hellenic Institute. It's a great honor to be with us here in Thessaloniki in the 21st Book Fair. It's an honor for all of us. And please allow me to speak in my language, in Greek language, because I believe in the power of language. So allow me to explain you why I speak to my language. So also it's a translate. We have an opportunity of translation, so you can have the translation in English. So. Okay. So it's not easy to have the translators. Okay. Okay. From Argyris. So can, if you want to have a translation machine, you can ask for it. So, εγώ δεν προέρχομαι από την αγορά του βιβλίου.
I don't stem from the book market like Mr. Castagnotis. He's one of the most traditional publishers in Greece with a great contribution to our culture. So I come from the world of advertisement and communication.
I think that this is my asset. Θεωρούσα ότι πάντα η...
So I believe that communication could be a criterion so that books from cultural goods or means of communication and whether private or collective, it could be turned into a more modern format of communication so that books could enter each and every house. I entered the world of books in 2018 when everyone was telling me that the crisis had just begun So and our country was trying to get out of the crisis. Those were difficult times, and everyone kept telling me, "You're investing on something that is dying. Paper is reduced. The readers the number of readers is reduced." But what my approach was that I wanted to turn these cultural products into a necessity in my way and try to introduce them in every household. So I tried some very expensive advertisement methods like outdoors advertisement on buses, for example, where Michelle Obama had just had her book translated into Greek. So this was a success story in my case. I did have quite a satisfactory margin of gain, but this is not always the case, I can assure you. But I gave you this example because I want to tell you that we need new methods, new ways so that the book becomes part of our culture, of our community, especially for the younger generations. I would like to congratulate Mr. Bakounakis, the president of the Hellenic Foundation for Books and Culture, because I have the feeling, because he has a very low profile, however, he has managed to understand the international book market and has managed to turn the Greek book into an attractive product. I use my mother tongue because I believe that the ancient Greek language or the Latin language are, after all, the cradle of a culture, and I believe in civilization. And I believe that one way or another we need to preserve our language. And this asset of ours could be turned into an asset for the production of books. I believe in the combining, I believe in combining approaches. The Hellenic Foundation for Books and Culture is doing a wonderful job. I took a look at the budget of other countries trying to draft similar policies. 30 million in France, a high budget in Korea, which is also the model for our sector. But what is missing in Greece, but I believe it's also missing in most European countries, France and Germany set apart, is that we lack in synergies. This means that we cannot have translations of Greek books, of Greek titles, without having any actions that support them. Marketing activities in the market that they are destined to be sold. 30 million of tourists arriving in Greece every year leave Greece without having any experience of Greek authors or at least an opportunity to learn about a contemporary literature, Greek literature. We need a marketing budget, because when you target a market with your cultural product that you have promoted, you need to support it with more contemporary and well-targeted means. Young people are easy to target, hard to target, I'm sorry, because they don't feel at ease with paper, and they're at an age where they do not perceive literature the way we did in the past. And surveys from the European authorities showed in France, where a very targeted program was implemented with book vouchers, 70% of the budget was paid for buying manga books. So the Korean model could be analyzed at the local or regional or pan-European level so that we can create this love of reading once again. And another thing, books are getting older together with their readers. And I believe in that the European population is growing older. In Greece, according to the Hellenic Statistics Agency data, only 17% of the population read more than 5 books in 2023. This is quite discouraging for our visions for the future. So we need well-targeted activities for younger people, the policies from the state with grants, with financing, smart initiatives for the book, and promotion of authors, new authors, young authors who could become the authors of our future. And I believe in my language. I believe we do have the opportunity and the possibility to make it well known throughout the world. Thank you.
I'm thinking what language I will speak to switch in Greek or not. Okay, I will try to speak in English to have the diversity here. So, Mr. Mouroutis mentioned very crucial things, and one thing that is when we talked before about the sustainability of the book exhibition, the exhibition, the fairs, we're talking about the sustainability of publishers, not only in terms of economical scale and things like that, but also if we have readers in the future, and what kind of readers we have, and if they buy books, not only just download or stream books. So it's a crucial, it's a question that I would like to ask to our publishers, because they're doing this job very well. If they think that their strategy tries to engage new generations of books, and if they're thinking about this strategy in terms of the production that they made. Yes, but how you engage with through your strategy the new readers, can not only with book production but also marketing and things like that.
Yeah. Now, from the beginning of storytelling, the oral culture, the only thing that has changed from taking the message from A to B, from the antenna to the receiver, is the technology. And with the printing press and later on with the internet, this has been easier to, books have been easier to produce in mass market, in masses, and they're more prosita, easy to obtain. So nowadays, with the younger generation, the problem is not a technological problem. It's you compete with other mediums that are easier to consume, which is the television, podcasts, and stuff like that. And currently, most non-English European countries, the publishing industry has a huge competition from the English-spoken language books, because the younger people, which have access to the World Wide Web and YouTube and other mediums which they consume content in English, tend to nowadays read the books in the original language, because they're easy to obtain, they're cheaper than the translated editions. So that's the main problem with targeting the younger generation. Now, I mentioned before the lack of an organized network of libraries and books in the libraries. So it's statistically proven that libraries are incubators of readers, not bookstores, not publishers, not the internet. You need libraries and librarians. And the access to the books, easy, free, and with a person to guide you in the plethora of. Since we lack of this in Greece, it's even harder to reach out for the younger generations, and obviously we target them through social media with titles that are more fancy, and you try to follow the trends, but that's missing the point, because a publisher doesn't follow the trend, it creates trends. It takes you by the hand and it tells you this is the author you should be reading now. Don't waste your time on easy food for thought, and we have the tools to do that. It's not easy, but that's the task in hand. The printer prints the title, the distributor distributes it, the publisher is the curator, which the reader relies on to discover the next book that he's going to read.
Thank you. And the same question to Mr. Mouroutis.
I prefer to speak in Greek. Λιγότερο από το μισό της
I believe 0.5% of the Greek book market is represented by the e-book with regard to turnover. I believe the audiobook has a slightly higher percentage. And why am I saying this? Because Greece is with regard to sales, you mean? No, and no, of course, I'm talking about sales, not reading percentages. And I'm saying this because there is a distortion. It is not only an issue of publishers, but this market has not been regulated. And I want to repeat once again the following. Both publishers and people in the book industry in Greece and abroad should think outside the box. And let's not forget that but now we have a new aesthetic culture, because younger generations have another way of perception. So what I mean is that we don't reject any cultural approach or trend, and one could use the communication means so that the book becomes a form of recreation for these younger generations in every household. We don't know if this book will be read or not. But I believe that, first of all, books should become a trend, a fashion. They should enter all households. There are people on TikTok promoting books that they themselves have never read one book in their lives. And at a later stage, we should educate and train these people who have purchased the book on the power of the book. We need to take advantage of all means of technology that we have at our disposal. This is a very important challenge that we're facing, and this is AI. And AI should not be able to produce without any cost, without any copyright, without any royalties to anyone, and to produce cultural products. And at the end of the day, there's no regulation in the book market. Talent will always be there. It's only humans that are holders of talents. Talent, be it emotion, be it sensitivity, and book is the equivalent of culture. We need to face these challenges in a political way through policies, and unfortunately we have two different worlds in front of us. The world of the US with a very different regulation of the market, and we have the European market with some first acts that impose some limitations. But since books are cultural goods, we should have worldwide regulations in order to face the challenge of AI. I'm confident and I'm optimistic about the future, not just as a publisher, but I believe that there are so many humans who have the intelligence to buy what is worth buying.
Questions from you if you want to ask something about the book market, the Greek book market, something that you want from us to specify. I don't know. Yes, this.
Would like to go back from the beginning because I'm very interested in. And you said, I don't remember if who, probably the first man start talking about library, the loss. You don't have a good library system. What about the bookstore?
Yeah, there are bookstores. Not before the major economic crisis. We had two large bookstore chains, but during the economic crisis, 2,000 bookstores closed. So 2,000, yes. So when between 2010 and 19, yeah, okay. And both of those large bookstore chains closed, and now we have the largest retailer is Public, which is similar to the French Fnac, which is not just books. It's like a supermarket of things, and there are many small, neighborhood bookstores which are around a thousand of a thousand of bookstores, but out of those, around 400 can can y- can be accounted on. So Politia bookstore, which is owned by my father before starting the publishing house, was a bookseller in one of the, and they were colleagues with Liverius, who created Politia. My father created Castagnotis Editions. Now Politia is the largest bookstore of Greece. It has the large share of the online market, and it's considered to be the place of, if you, they actually employ people that know about they read books. So it's the best bookstore of Athens. If we had 5, 6 more of those, it would be perfect, but we don't. So obviously, after the pandemic, a lot of the market has shifted on to the online space, because not just books, everything. People took up on buying from Vault and other services. But I tried to mention before, the problem with reading in Greece is that there is not a central platform for e-books. There is a Kindle store. Kobo has some Greek titles, but no one can find them and nobody knows about it. So if you're a reader looking for books in Greek, you don't know where to go and search for. You can come to the publishers' websites and discover some of the titles, but the whole experience is not what it's supposed to be, because reading is not actually it's not actually buying the content, because you can find that for free at the torrent sites. It's the experience around the content. It's the service around the content that you pay for. The ability to have your book synced to all your devices, keep your notes, share the notes. If you lose the device, you can download them again. You don't lose your content. That's what users pay for. Otherwise, you can download the top 10 of the New York Times list in 3 minutes, less than a minute, sorry, for free. I mean, so that experience doesn't exist in this market, and that's why there is no market. People read ebooks. I held a poll on the other days on the largest Facebook readers group. It has 150,000 members. It's 1,100 people replied, and sorry, 1 out of 5 of those read ebooks. So there is a readership out there. We just don't provide the content.
How
Yes.
many millions of
Last year in Greece we had 30 millions of tourists, and it's about, I think, 10% of our GDP. So the biggest markets were United States, and I think the biggest was United States, and large markets were the Italian market, the European market, Germany and France.
Coming in.
Yes, of course, of course, of course. But this is a chance for Greek civilization, Greek books, and to provide culture, to provide habits, to provide civilization, history. So I think that the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Culture, they have the obligation to see that opportunity and to. And maybe you can come to work from an island or from a Greek island, not.
You will need Starlink by Elon Musk.
Just to one question, yes. Just I want to add something about this question about the tourism. There are some publishing houses here in Greece that have a business model that they translate directly the Greek authors to other languages, French, Spanish, and they sell these books also in islands on bookstores. We have some publishers that do this kind of things, and also independent, small, medium size. Not only the ancient, not only, yes, okay, modern classics, but not. But it's a model that we discuss about that, and the publishing world discusses, Greek publishing world discuss about that, and it's something that open the markets, as you can understand, because when go to Naxos, for example, and there are thousands of people, and they go to the local bookstore. If they find something that is directly translated Greek author in English, maybe they can buy it. So it's a very clever model, and I think more publishers should adapt or try to expand this.
after the medieval time, we rediscovered Greek books. So it's time to rediscover Greek books for a European Renaissance, not only for a Greek Renaissance, but for a European Renaissance. So go on, boys.
Thank you. We have also a question.
Yes, thank you. How do you explain that Greece escapes the phenomenon of concentration that we can find in other countries, small countries like Portugal or the Netherlands? Why in Greece you escape this phenomenon and you keep this family business model?
Why we don't merge, for example? Because it's not just Greek. I think it's a Balkan mentality where, as we don't collaborate in in order to achieve economies of scale, for example, so we could all benefit like the Norwegians, the Italians, even the British. They have the independent coalition, how it's called. I mean, the Faber's. So, how we have managed to survive? It's the question. Well, if you are a Greek, it's like the Odyssey or the Odysseus. You know, you find your way around the problems, and it's a small market. You know, first of all, you should know that we are the most competitive for printing now because of the crisis and everything. I have requested quotes from all the countries. We are the cheapest, so move your production here. So I mean, I don't have another explanation. We should have consolidated. We should have collaborations, or just spread the market like the Norwegians have done. You publish romance, I publish crime, he publish. But the mentality is here. Everyone holds their breath until the next guy dies. So they're the king of the hill. So
The Greek market, η ελληνική αγορά είναι πολύ μικρή.
The Greek market is very small. 263,000, excuse me, 263 million from the last measurements. I don't agree with this Greek mentality with small family businesses. This might be an attractive concept because you have this love through generations. You do something you love. But I believe in the publishing world, Greece should become more competitive through collaborations and partnerships. There are programs that still haven't been developed in a sufficient way, so that we have partnerships with printers abroad. But from what I know, there have been suggestions which are not welcome by the chambers of commerce and industry at the local level, for example. But since we address the market, we have to deal with the competition, and the more we invest on the industry, the more opportunities will be created. And I'm very new in this market, but this is such a fragmented market. We have 8 associations of publishers. Imagine such a big number of associations for such a small market. We should find our joint vision, and then we will move on to the details. Maybe a last.
It's not a question. It's like a comment. Yesterday, I had a small talk with Giovanni Hoepli, a 5th generation publisher in Milan, Italy. And he was telling me that given the conditions, the circumstances, nowadays, 2 business sizes of publishing houses can survive. Very small or very big. So in Greece, the field is dominated by small and middle family publishing houses. I don't know if we'll see in the near future an evolution about the size of publishing houses here in Greece. That's just for a comment on your very interesting discussion.
And to add something to Mr. Bakunaki's thoughts, also in European Union, the publishing industry is a micro enterprises and small. There is micro, even smaller than small. Also, this is something that we see in all cultural industry, in other also arts and the fields. But the small industry also, like ours, it has the flexibility maybe sometimes that can move through the waves. So that's why maybe we can survive as an industry, not only because we have Odysseus as a as a paradigm, but because we are we are easier to move when the changes are coming and the disruptions are coming, like technology, electronic formats. Maybe one question, maybe we have time, Ms. Kuzeli.
I think what we need to make a very substantial conversation is sales data that reliable sales data that we don't have. We had a research published in Tovima about book sales in 2020. And it appeared that, yes, during the economic crisis, many bookstores folded, but there was concentration in fewer bigger bookstores. And the sales went up between 2017 to 2019. So yes, it's a fact that bookshops have closed, but maybe fewer bookshops sell more books. We have to have data, and publishers and LEVIP should make an effort. It's an effort now that we have. It's a very good effort that we now have data on book production. We should have the other end of the cycle, data for book sales, so we can have a substantial conversation on that.
Last year, there was a discussion here in the book fair about this, not last year, 2 years before, about this sales data and the indicators that we need in regarding the sales. Publishers thought that it was a very good idea. They never move forward. But also have in France, Phileas, it's a new program that shows the path. If we unite to something that all people want to know the sales, and I suppose publishers, in order to make good predictions and good strategy. So, okay, Mr. Castagnotis, okay. So, okay, I think that time is over. Thank you very much for your attention, for your presence here. We are seeing you in the book fair, in the corridors, and thank you very much. And also Mr. Argyris Castagnotis and Mr. Mouroutis for their presentations. Thank you.